Hello, GHC Youth. I hope you are having an amazing week. We are on part 3 of our series called After God's Own Heart. We've been examining the 10 Commandments to correct our misconceptions that God's commands somehow restrict us from a life of happiness in the lives of believers. Actually, the 10 Commandments reveal God's loving character and give us the blueprints to a life of blessing. Now, the order of the commandments shows us the importance of each one. So we start off with God. We looked at the first 4, all of which are about God. Have no other gods before me. Do not worship idols. Do not take the Lord's name in vain. And honor or observe the Sabbath. Now, the last 6 commandments are about our relationships with other people. And the first one, the most important one, is about our relationship with our parents. So today we're going to look at the 5th commandment and see how we are to treat our parents. Now, first let me just talk about teenagers and parents. For any kid, relationships with your parents are a huge part of your life. Your parents, they give you life, they protect you, they teach you, they guide you, they provide for you, they love you, right? Or at least that's what they're supposed to do. But as a teenager, you might start to notice that you have more conflict with them. You start to argue more, right? This is natural because it's part of your development. And you are maturing from a kid into an adult who makes their own decisions. Now, the problem is that you have little knowledge and no experience of the world, and so you often will make the wrong decisions. Your parents, they want what they think is best for you, but you want what you think is best for you. They see you as still a little kid, but you see yourself as someone growing into an adult. Parents can be your biggest cheerleaders. They can also sometimes be your biggest critics. Parents can be a source of great love. They can also be a source of great hurt. These are kind of growing pains, and they're common in any kind of relationship. But when taken to the extreme, these conflicts with your parents can cause great emotional wounds that haunt you for the rest of your life. But they don't have to. Now, the Bible instructs parents to love and protect their children, to raise them in the ways of the Lord. But the Bible also instructs children to love and respect their parents. Now, how can we do that? The key is in how you honor your parents. And so we're going to look at the 5th commandment found in Exodus chapter 20. I'm going to open up my Bible app here, scroll down to verse 12. And it reads, "Honor your father and mother so that you may have a long life in the land that the Lord your God is giving you." Remember, he was speaking to them right before they were crossing into the promised land. "But rebellion, disobedience, disrespect towards God or towards your parents will set you up for a lifetime of pain and conflict." And this is the recipe that our society tells us to follow. Think about it. Where do you learn about the world the most? From your parents' boring lectures when they just corner you and just yell at you and you're in trouble? Or by scrolling through exciting Instagram posts or listening to popular music? Are those two sources teaching you the same values? Probably not. Yet our culture subversively teaches us to disrespect our parents, to lie to them, to deceive them, to stop trusting them. It's the same tactic used to attack our trust in God. Why does God give you these commandments? Is it to keep good things and happy things from you? Why are your parents so strict on you? Why won't they give you the things you want or let you do the things you want? Aren't they trying to control you and prevent you from actually enjoying your life? Don't fall for this trap. It's the same deception Satan used on Eve in the garden when he confused her by asking her all these kinds of questions about, did God really say this? And will you really be punished? He was telling her, God is hiding something good from you because he doesn't love you. So it's okay, just do it. I had a former youth student call me in college about an argument he had with his parents. He wanted to live in an apartment with his friends. His parents said, no way. He asked me how to convince his parents to let him do it, and I simply said, well, let me ask you this question first that you need to answer. Who pays for your rent? If it's your parents, you are under their authority, and you should probably lean towards what they are saying. We often forget that on this earth, we are under our parents' authority designated by God and enforced by our government laws. They are designed to protect us. This is part of your life, but it won't be long until you are an adult and things will be different. But in the meantime, you have to respect their authority. Now, not everyone has a great family situation. Maybe your parents are divorced, or maybe you don't know your parents. Maybe you were adopted. Maybe your parents have their own problems, sometimes take it out on you, or maybe you lost a parent. Maybe they're just bad, horrible parents, and now be careful with that one. But God still says honor them. Notice in this command, he doesn't say honor your father and mother if they deserve to be honored, or honor them if they honor you, or if they take care of you, or if they're good parents. It says to honor them. Now, that word honor doesn't mean to blindly obey them and do everything they say. In fact, God tells us we should not obey them if they are telling us to disobey him. For example, in the Bible, Jonathan disobeyed his father, King Saul, who wanted to kill David because Jonathan knew and trusted that God had chosen David to replace his father as king. So he disobeyed his father to obey God. Obeying God always takes priority over obeying parents. Now, I want to give you a positive example of this. And so I look to Genesis and the story of Joseph. And it covers a lot of chapters, so I'm not going to bring it up. But you may know this story. Joseph, his father was Jacob. He was Jacob's favorite son. And so Joseph's brothers were jealous of him. They detested him. They despised him. They plotted to get rid of him, and they sold him to slave traders who took him to Egypt. What a horrible situation. If I were Joseph, I would have spent every day just loathing and hating my brothers, plotting how one day I hope I can get revenge on them. I would even blame my father because he's the one that kind of created that animosity between the brothers. Well, you know the rest of the story. Joseph actually ended up prospering in Egypt, and he was given a position of honor and authority. And years later, Joseph's brothers make a trip to Egypt to ask the Pharaoh for food to relieve them of the famine they were experiencing. And they encounter Joseph, who's in charge of all the food. They don't recognize him. Instead of hate and revenge, Joseph showed mercy and forgiveness and reunited with his father with a deep love. So yes, he forgave his brothers, but most of the chapters actually talk about him and his father. How they were reunited, and Jacob was just so pleased to see him again because he thought he was dead. None of Joseph's hardships or sufferings mattered anymore. The evil he had experienced from his brothers was redeemed by God by allowing Joseph to return and honor his father and save them all from the famine. And so in the same way, every part of your relationship with your parents, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I always think of those three, the good, the bad, and the ugly, they will be used for God for his glory. No, it's not perfect. They're not perfect. But what is perfect besides God? We give God glory by honoring our parents, loving them, forgiving them even when they hurt us deeply. Just as we have been honored and loved and forgiven by Christ, we show that to all others, especially our parents. How do we honor our parents? It's not easy. It is absolutely not easy. Family relationships, they're the strongest, which means the love you experience is more loving, but the conflict you experienced is more conflicting, or it's more harsh. Being insulted by a stranger might mean nothing to you, but those same words of insult by a family member can cause deep wounds. You know your parents the most. You have to figure out how to love and honor them the way God wants you to. That might be to spend time with them. That might be to express gratitude to them. It might be to use respectful words. It might be to adjust your attitude. It might be to forgive them. It might be in praying for them. One interesting fact about this commandment is that it is the only one with a promise that if you keep it, you'll have basically a long and blessed life. By showing honor and gratitude, it makes it easy for your parents to bless you with love and gifts. Those who honor parents will honor God and honor others. Those who don't will have problems with authority. They will have problems with their bosses, problems with the law. They will treat other people poorly. Let me assure you that the Bible also teaches the opposite to parents, that parents should love and treat children well. But you can't control that. You can only control your heart and your actions. Listen, as youth pastor, I talk to many students who have problems with their parents. I also talk to many parents who have problems with their kids. The goal isn't to figure out who is to blame and then to punish them. My goal is to show how the gospel gives us the blueprints to love, forgive, and honor one another. So, GHC Youth, would you pray for your parents this week? And specifically, would you pray asking God to show you how you can honor them in such a way that gives him great glory and pleasure? Well, that's it for me this week. Have a blessed week, and I hope to see you guys all soon.